Now, Abuja, the Federal Capital Territory, Nasarawa, Niger, and Kogi states may soon be thrown into darkness as the National Union of Electricity Employees of the Abuja Electricity Distribution Company threatens to down tools and shut down a power supply. In a notice letter signed by the Assistant Secretary General Okbalua Simeon, the union listed 13 unmet demands such as non-remittance of pension deductions for 16 months, non-implementation of a national minimum wage of 70,000 naira, non-confirmation of staff on acting employment, non-promotion of staff, non-payment of a 2024 productivity bonus, among others, as reasons for the planned strike.
Well, for more on the threat of strike by the AEDC electricity workers, that's the Abuja Electricity Distribution Company, we're now being joined by Prince Will Okorie, who is the Executive Director, Electricity Consumer Protection Advocacy Center. Thank you so much for joining us on the news.
Thank you for having me.
That's quite a mouthful, advocacy, but thank you for what you do. Now, let me ask you, this isn't the first time these workers are issuing a threat strike. In fact, they did suspend one last November. What does this say about negotiations, the plight of workers, and most importantly, the king in this conversation, the customer?
I take it this way. What you wish others come to you. The people that are protesting are the instruments used to extort and exploit consumers. How do they feel when their salaries are used to pay only for electricity that is not supplied? They are extorting and exploiting consumers, and those using them are equally exploiting and cheating on them. So I don't pity them.
They're exploiting consumers. These are just workers employed in an organization.
Let me tell you, workers employed. There's a funny situation in Nigeria. Workers are always self-centered. When it touches their allowance, their salaries, their benefits, they cry to high heavens. But who is causing the corruption that is leading to lack of resources to pay them? Take, for instance, these distribution companies you're talking about now will tell you they'll go and migrate you to band A secretly. Even when you are on 11 kVA transformer, that is for band B. They secretly migrate you to band A, and you'll be paying 209 naira per kilowatt hour. Even those that don't have meter, whom they don't supply the light, they force them to pay the money.
Are you saying that these workers, the AEDC workers, arbitrarily, on their own, just go out there and secretly, change people's bands, whether it's A to B or
the law of karma,
not the AEDC
law
itself.
of karma and justice is there. If I'm used to cheat another human being, another person will cheat on me. If I believe in what is right, fair, and just, I should uphold fairness and justice.
I don't know.
But what we see in Nigeria, let me tell you what we see in Nigeria.
Yeah.
You go to buy fuel in a filling station. There is weight and measurement. They are public servants. They should monitor the filling stations. They go there and do whatever they do and get away. You buy 1 liter, half liter enters your tank. You are exploited. You drive away. The staff, the civil servant that should monitor them, goes and settles with them and goes away. He doesn't care. You are cheated.
So
but the day his salary, the way you are cheated as a consumer, the day his own salary drops by 10 naira, he will mobilize. Now, why will he allow such corrupt practices to exist? Cheating on other citizens and want himself to be protected.
I mean, this is an interesting dimension that you're bringing
That
to
is
the
my
whole
view.
thing, because you're blaming these workers for their lot. Is that what you're saying? You'll address that. You'll address that.
The Constitution,
Yes.
the Constitution, the social objectives of state policy, Section 17,
Right.
talks about fairness, equity, justice.
Yeah.
And if you're a worker, you should uphold those principles. Are you telling me now that if an armed robber employs you to rob, you will go and rob and say because he sent you? You wouldn't. You will say it's against the principle, the ethics. Is against principles. But when you are working for an organization, my dear, do you know that in 2020, 200 billion was earmarked? AEDC you're talking about got about 5 or something billion
How much of that?
to provide meter free for consumers.
How much of that? Hold on. How much of that got into the pockets of the AEDC workers?
How much of it did consumers get? How much did the consumers who are Nigerians like these workers get? The worker should protect his fellow Nigerian. The worker should know that his fellow Nigerian is a citizen too. And let me tell you something. It's just like when you see workers in government. They don't believe in section 14(2)(c) of the constitution that says the participation of the people in government shall be ensured. They believe that Nigeria is run as if it's only for public servants and politicians. Citizens that are not employed are treated like slaves. Listen, when they bought rice and they reduced the price of rice, it was for workers. Ordinary Nigerians that we are not workers, we are not considered. And the workers, we are happy, enjoying the rice themselves.
Okay, so now,
and the other Nigerians were suffering.
Hold on, so because we don't, I mean, it's an interesting thing. I wish we could, go along those lines that you're arguing. But AEDC has promised to pay all entitlements as workers threaten this first strike.
If they pay them, well, good for them. But what I'm saying here, I'm not justifying that a worker shouldn't be paid his wages. It's wrong. But for a worker to become an instrument for extortion, injustice, perpetration of injustice against his fellow citizens is not proper. Look at the educational system. This bribe that students pay in school to write exam, write jam, the union is there. How do they stop them? They benefit from them. But the day 1 naira drops from their salary, they cry to high heavens.
Okay.
So if they want to be fairly treated, they should equally advocate that other citizens should be well treated.
Okay, all right. We would like to invite the AEDC workers to also come and speak their side of the story because, I mean, you're an advocacy group. You really do not wear the shoes and don't know where it pinches for them. But I understand your...
I wear the shoe of citizens and the shoe of consumers.
Right.
The workers are insignificant in number.
I haven't asked you my question yet. Hold on. And I was saying that I also understand your perspective because my first question to you was about the plight of workers and the king in the conversation, who is the customer. So I understand where you're coming from. But let's talk about the disruptions. It's good to hear AEDC say they will listen to what they call legitimate concerns. But should these concerns not be met, how concerned are you about the disruptions? What's the scale of disruptions we'll be facing as residents of Abuja and environs that AEDC serves?
I have not had light since Tuesday in my office. I have not had light. So we are already used to it. What do you even talk about people whose transformers get destroyed? And they collect what they call OPEX from NEC. NEC approve operational expenditures for maintenance and repairs. And consumers are the ones that pay for them. And they don't use the money. What is happening? Okay, what about citizens that buy transformer, pole and wire, and there is third-party investment policy, and they take over these properties and use them to make money without refunding the people that bought them? Where is conscience? So if the owners of the company lack the conscience to ensure that fair play is applied in their operations, I wouldn't be surprised if they treat their workers that way, because their workers are part of the game. They are all conspirators against the citizens and against consumers.
So what you are saying is that there's a fundamental restructuring or reform that needs to happen within the electricity sector, whether it's AEDC or any other DC, for that matter.
My sister, the entire gamut of labor unions in Nigeria need to reorientate themselves and believe that Nigerians that are suffering all the corruption they are perpetrating are citizens like them. The way they suffer when their monies are taken or when they are not paid is the way these citizens suffer. Do you know a community in Besa spent 17 million to buy transformer, pole and wire? They appealed to AEDC to assist them. They refused. The moment the people bought this thing themselves, owing 3 million, not up to 2 weeks after energizing, AEDC clamped on them, started disconnecting people, started asking for all money. It was our intervention that stopped them. We had to go complain. We raised our voice and it stopped. You check in virtually every sector of the economy today. The workers that cry of being owed salary, go and ask, how committed are they? Some of us, our parents were civil servants. When the civil servants were scared of committing fraud, committing crime. But today they are bold. It's like the country is their own.
Don't you
and
think
it's only when they lack...
It's a systemic problem that
it's
needs
not
to be fixed.
It's selfishness and abuse of constitutional rights and lack of conscience. Is wickedness against their fellow citizens.
Okay. All right, Mr. Okorie, I was going to ask you, but I think you've partly answered. I was going to ask you that you have such strong passion for the Nigerian people. And what has your advocacy done to change the situation on the ground? But you cited one example, and I'm glad that you did that, that you intervened and the issue was resolved. But how do we scale up that? I mean, we talk about these issues almost every time. It's the same story over and over again. How do we scale up such advocacy? How do we truly make Nigerians the king?
Our advocacy is working on between 24th and 25th of October last year. Our association collaborated with House of Reps Committee on Safety Standards and Regulations. And we had a program on electricity safety. You may not believe that most of the installers today don't have competency certificate from NEMSA. And the law says for you to be an installer, you must have a competency certificate approved by NEMSA.
Installer of what?
Installer of electricity.
Okay. Right.
Do you know why when rain fall down, light will go? The networks are not durable.
Yeah.
Fake products. Nigeria has the best cables all over the world. But they are being cloned abroad and brought in here. You have substandard materials all over the place. And that is what they're using. We try to advocate that that should be done. We had a conference on that last year, October. As I speak with you now, our association raised an advocacy for investigation into the 200 billion naira loan that CBN brought in 2020 for National Mass Metering Program. They're investigating that matter now. So they know what we do in the sector. Most people that know us know what we do in the sector. But you see, the problem here is when you see institutions of state against those that speak the truth is a problem. Sometimes you even see the media not wanting to take your story. Because to them, they say, this thing is too confrontational. They call it names. But they don't see evil as evil.
Well, Arise gives you the platform
as confrontational.
to express yourself. Now, in terms of fixing this rot that you talk about, what are the key things that need to be done to fix AEDC and all the,
My sister, let me just tell you straight away. Let me just tell you straight away. Under the Electricity Act 2023, Section 119 is on consumer protection and licensing performance standards. Are you aware that that section, based on that section, Nigerian Electricity Regulatory Commission came up with customer protection regulations 2023. It talks about disconnection and reconnection. There are a number of days they will give you before they disconnect you, but they disconnect people indiscriminately. Look at Band A now. They are talking. My office, where my office is, 44 offices in that plaza. AEDC secretly went and shared it. Half of that office is put on Band A secretly. People didn't know. And it's 11 kVA. We are supposed to be on Band B. It took my intervention and going to NEC to complain to the Consumer Affairs. And they called AEDC. They denied. And the worst is that the period they were doing is collecting this money, people didn't know. Until people began to complain. You buy credit today, the next 3 days is finished. Yeah. Is it not your own? If their own salary goes like that, will they be happy?
All right.
But do you not know? Do you know the most wicked thing now is if you bypass any meter now, they punish you immediately. They won't go to court, they won't go to police. But if they overbill you, they will tell you to write complaint to the distribution company and wait for 15
to bypass.
But are we encouraging them to shortchange Nigerians?
No, but you
are we encouraging them to secretly put you on Band A?
But you should not encourage it.
Have you condemned these ones that do it?
The point is,
have condemned, balance it and condemn their own.
Okorie, hold on.
Of course,
every Nigerian
condemn their own as you condemn.
If every Nigerian does the right thing, it will reflect on this country.
Let me tell you, the laws are even made against consumers. Section 212. Let me conclude with this. Section 212 of the Electricity Act is on false declaration. Section 217 is on if you confront the distribution company staff. Do you know that false declaration is only 100,000 naira fine and 1 month? But if you confront them, it's 2 million naira or 2 years imprisonment. Where is fairness? Where is justice?
Thank you, Prince.
So you people should be highlighting that and stop covering them.
That's what we're doing.
Why are telling me you are not encouraging bypass, but you're encouraging them cheating on consumers? Condemn that one very well.
No, you cannot say that.
Do a program to condemn their extortion.
That's not fair. You cannot say we are encouraging them to bypass.
When I said their own now, you jumped at me and said we are not encouraging bypass.
You make it sound like it's them versus us. But the people who do these things are all Nigerians.
My sister, is your reaction
Prince
here
Okorie is the Executive Director of the Electricity Consumer Protection Advocacy Center and we do not encourage illegality in any form at all,
No
whether on the part of the consumers or the providers.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for being on the news. We do appreciate your time.